Today is the last day of the AFL trade period, and here to tell us more about all that wheeling and dealing of these last hours of the trade period and what else is happening in the world of sport is reporter Lachlan Patrick.
Thanks, Jamina. Now, today is the last day of the trade period in AFL, and the deadline is just hours away, with several deals over top players coming down to the wire this afternoon. The Western Bulldogs are willing to risk sending Josh Dunkley to the pre-season draft if the Brisbane Lions don't pay up, as the Dogs hold firm on its price for the star midfielder. Collingwood forward Ollie Henry may join Dunkley in the draft if a deal with Geelong falls through. Henry is willing to do whatever it takes to play alongside his brother next year. Jacob Hopper. Deals are still being sealed as the trade turmoil continues. Richmond landed Jacob Hopper, there he is, late yesterday without having to trade a player to the Giants, just a draft pick. And Brodie Grundy has moved from Collingwood to the Demons, just 2 years into what was set to be a $7 million 7-year deal with the Pies. Now let's take a look at soccer. The Matildas overnight came out on top over Denmark. They managed a strong 3-1 victory in the women's friendlies, but it wasn't looking good for the Matildas at the start. Denmark's Karen Holmgaard scored just 47 seconds in, spurring a dramatic turnaround from the Aussie side in the second half. A hectic 9 minutes saw Matildas winger Caitlin Ford tie things up. Then a strike from Katrina Gorry put the Matildas in front. Ford sealed the deal with a third goal in minute 74. It's the team's first win against a top 20 team since last year, continuing the Matildas' comeback after a Saturday win against South Africa ended a disappointing string of losses. They'll be hoping to keep that up for the Women's World Cup, which comes right here to Australia in July next year. Now, let's head over to Europe. Manchester City lost its first points in a strong Champions League season, drawing 0-0 with Copenhagen overnight. A red card for Sergio Gomez 30 minutes in proved challenging for the team. Star striker Erling Haaland was benched for the whole match. But they're still straight through the knockouts thanks to a match between Borussia Dortmund and Sevilla. The match was tightly contested and also ended in a draw 1-1. You'll see that in a moment. Not so lucky are Celtic, though. You saw their coach there earlier. A home loss to RB Leipzig is the latest in a string of poor games, sending the team's hopes of advancing in the competition down the drain. Coached by Aussie Ange Postecoglou, there he is again. The Scottish side now faces a battle for third in Group F. If the team can swing that, it would qualify for the second-tier Europa League. Postecoglou spoke about Celtic's path forward after the match.
That can take you on to the next stage in Europe. Is the message to the fans and the players to continue to believe that that is possible?
Yeah, we have to. The next home game against Shakhtar becomes really important for us. And we've just got to maintain the belief. I think the worst thing you can do right now is allow the disappointment of what's happened tonight deter you from what you're trying to achieve.
Now let's bring it back home. Ticket sales opened for the Australian Open today, with organisers hoping to break records for the first tournament since pandemic restrictions lifted this year. The tournament's record is over 800,000 tickets sold, and Team Australia Chief Exec Craig Tiley says pre-sales are set to break it. But the Open will go ahead without one notable name. Novak Djokovic is still banned from entering Australia. That's not him, that's Ash Barty. Nope, there we go, we'll find him eventually. He's still banned from entering Australia, though, after being deported in January, but the new government could intervene, will they? We'll find out in January. And finally, look at this, racing season is here. Last night, a light show lit up Sydney Harbour as part of a cash splash for the Everest barrier draw. The race courted controversy in 2018 for a similar display when barrier results were projected onto the Opera House. So who were the big winners and big losers of this barrier draw? Well, last night, Joyful Fortune, Giacchino and Private Eye scored easy runs, getting prized inside barriers. There you just saw 500 Jones lining up Sydney Harbour with all of those results. Many people looking forward to Saturday, including me. That's it for sport, though. Back to you, Sam.
Thanks for that, Lachlan.